Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and on today's episode of Wizard of Metal, we are going to be talking about the song Barracuda, originally written by Heart, but I guarantee it's been covered by a number of other bands. I only happen to know one of them, and that is the band Seven Kingdoms. But regardless of whether we're talking about a cover or the original, it all boils back to the same thing: the original song released in 1977 by the band Heart. Now, before we go too much further, why don't we go ahead and roll the old die to see which soundtrack we listen to. And we get Jazz Soundtrack, which has nothing to do with hard rock, but hey, that's completely fine. So, you'll understand why I chose the selections I did as we get into the run, but I set it up so that I would start with Jade's Jewel Tiara, as well as 4 out of the 5 Midas items. And the only reason why I didn't start with the 5th one is because I kind of forgot where it was. Can I? And I can't change it now unless I go through the tutorial again, but I think this will be fine. So the idea being that we wanted to... What you doing, Cecil? You flew right across my back, buddy. What are you trying to do? Silly bird. But yeah, the whole idea is that we are looking to be very greedy. And to that avail, we've got all sorts of things that are improving the amount of money I find. And then Jade's Jewel Tiara, because, what the hell, let's put on the gaudiest, flashiest piece of headgear we can. The run in and of itself is based around the idea of coming in and swooping in by surprise, using that and little bursts of speed, such as this movement arcana here, to do most of my work. And this, of course, is the surprise element. And then Volt Disc just to kind of add a little bit of flavor and variety. And then this is there to, once again, distract people and act as a decoy. So once again, element of surprise. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our payment. I think I'm just gonna go without this time, because I want to spend more time talking about the song than about the relics that I've picked up. By all accounts, everything that I have should make sense, since we are talking both about the song Barracuda and about the particularly violent fish, which, as I mentioned earlier, tends to do most of its hunting via the element of surprise and bursts of speed. Now, as I said, the band Heart was actually formed well before 1977, as the song in and of itself was actually off of their 3rd studio album, so definitely they were around for a while. As far as the origins of the song itself are concerned, well, that's a very interesting story, and that was not nice, sir. Perfect. Alright, now let's see if I can carry this into the next room. I can, but it doesn't help very much. So, To tell the story of how the song Barracuda came to be, we first start with the idea that the band was originally part of a record label called Mushroom Records. Now, as I said, they were up to their third studio album, and they were... Nice. And they were beginning work on what was supposed to be an album entitled Magazine, which, to be fair, the record label still released, although it was in an incomplete state. Well, why was it incomplete? Well, there's the fun part. Now, let me make sure I look up the information so that I don't get it wrong. So this is all part of a Wikipedia article that I found, and I will of course link that in the description below. So, first of all, the songwriters were Ann Wilson, Roger Fisher, Nancy Wilson, and the idea that Ann and Nancy are related is important, we'll get back to that, and then Michael DeRosier. So, as far as how the song came to be, and I should probably not... I'm stupid. I should probably not sit still too long. Oh, hey, you guys just want to off-screen yourselves? Thank you. Thanks, guys. That was a big help. I appreciate that. Alright, what do we have here? Well, we're definitely going to upgrade that. Whether or not I pick up Crashing Meteor, I'm not sure. And the run is such that I would get a lot out of Crashing Meteor. I'm done. Sorry, before I get started talking about the story of how the song came to be, I wanted to clear a few more rooms. Now, who is my... Okay, so actually Crashing Meteor would be a good idea to grab. I will go back and do that very quickly. Skadoosh. Alright, so here is how the song Barracuda came to be. Ann Wilson revealed in interviews that the song was about Hart's anger toward Mushroom Records, who, as a publicity stunt, released a made-up story of an incestuous affair involving Ann and her sister Nancy. How fucked up is that they decided to resort to something like that in order to boost publicity? The song particularly focuses on Ann's rage towards a male radio promoter who came up to her after a concert asking how her lover was. She initially thought that he was talking about her boyfriend, band manager Michael Fisher. After he revealed he was talking about her sister Nancy, Ann became outraged, went back to her hotel room, and wrote the original lyrics of the song. Producer Mike Flicker added that Mushroom Records was so obtuse in the contract negotiations that Hart decided to discard the album they were working on, which, as I said, was called Magazine, and I also mentioned that the label still released it in an unfinished form. And they instead signed with the newly formed, at the time, Portrait Records to make another record entirely called Little Queen. As Flicker put it, Barracuda was created conceptually out of a lot of this record business bullshit. Barracuda could be anyone from the local promotion man to the president of the record company. That is the Barracuda, so to speak. It was born out of that whole experience. So, there you go. That is what Barracuda is all about. Now, I will include the Wikipedia article as well as a couple of citations just to make sure that you know that I'm not just making something up. But yeah, that is a hell of a sordid story and really makes you think, why would anyone think it was cool to make up a story like that? Like, did either Anne or Nancy have anything like that coming? Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what was going on at the time. I guarantee they didn't have that sort of a response coming. Oh, hello. Unfortunately, I don't want to give up my frozen bait, so I can't really make use of that too much. And we'll grab the Wanderer's mechanism as well. Now, unfortunately, it is rather well known that in the very corporate world that we find ourselves living in, things like that do unfortunately happen, and they happen probably more than gets talked about, but, you know, we also live in a world of non-disclosure agreements. So, how are we to really know how often something like this happens? Dang, it's awful, it's filthy, you're just completely ruining someone's credibility by making up some garbage like that about them. And for what? So you can make a few extra bucks on the side? Like, is that really worth it? So yeah, I completely understand why after they learned what their record label had done, they decided that they were going to leave that record label behind and just produce their own thing. Okay, there's the possibility that I could meet up with Dr. Song, so I'm going to wait to purchase the Crashing Meteor upgrade. As far as the reception of the song itself, it should be well noted that the song was named the 34th best hard rock song ever written. Now, whether or not it's still at that place, because that was rather old news. So whether or not it still remains at that spot, or if something else hasn't come along to overtake it, I actually don't know. But at one point or another, that's where it stands, and now understanding the actual meaning behind the song and not just listening to the lyrics going, wow, someone must have really gotten under this woman's bad side. And yeah, that's an understatement. When you're willing to back out of a contract and sign with an entire new record label just so you can write and perform a song about how awful someone is, yeah, that is some hardcore, like that's metal as fuck. Now, was Heart necessarily a metal band? Not necessarily, but they definitely fall into the purview of hard rock, and that's good enough for me. Interesting point. At one point or another, I had designed a character. It was for a spacefaring game that was supposed to kind of play around with like the whole Star Fox idea. Alright, no Dr. Song, so that's a bummer. Birds! What do you think you're doing? Okay, we're gonna buy that. We're gonna buy that. And that's not really enough to warrant me purchasing, but there it is. So we'll grab this as well. And that's a maybe. I could always grab the Tipsy Gladius since I'm not really focusing on critical hit chance all that much. But how much you want to bet that I'm going to buy that, and then later the Crimson Clover is going to show up and Nox is going to be like, haha, you moron. Alright, so real quick, there, I just wanted to do that because this is supposed to be the episode about being a greedy shithead. Ow. There we go. I don't really care for Searing Crown. It's a nice get-off-me option, I suppose. There's nothing wrong with taking it, I just don't really want it. Alright, so I'm going to clear a couple of rooms with my Barracuda build. And then we will get to reading the lyrics. Now, those of you who have never seen one of my Wizard of Metal videos before, I tend to read the lyrics with not a lot of inflection, and the reason for that is because I think it's important to understand the lyrics in their entirety, and for you to understand and come up with kind of your own interpretation of what the song is supposed to mean. I will of course. Hold on. So mostly in this case it's going to be about understanding the lyrics themselves as the meaning of the song I've already disclosed. But just understand that that is a thing that I tend to do for these videos. Is I like to read the lyrics somewhat slowly and a little bit deadpan, just so it doesn't seem like I'm forcing a essentially meaning behind the lyrics that wasn't intended or just isn't there in the first place. There we go. So, let's get started with that, shall we? Here it is. So, we will now start with the lyrics to Barracuda. So this ain't the end, I saw you again, today. I had to turn my heart away. Smiled like the sun, kisses for everyone, and tails, it never fails. So you can already see where some of the where some of that made-up story is coming in, is I assume that's what the part about kisses for everyone and tails came from. Alright, moving on. Come on. You lying so low in the weeds, you lying so low in the weeds, I bet you're gonna ambush me. You'd have me down, 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 down on my knees. Now wouldn't you, Barracuda? That's referencing the idea that she felt that after making up a story like that, she would be essentially powerless and would have to deal with the band's demands. Which clearly, or not the band's, the record label's demands, which clearly they said, no, screw you. And, more power to them. Again, I'd like to point out just how vile and evil it is to make up a story like that. Like, there really is just no situation that calls for making up a story like that to gain publicity, try to mess with someone. Ugh. Anyway, continuing on. Back over time, we were all trying for free. You met the porpoise in me, No right, no wrong, you're selling a song, a name. Whisper game. Now, to be fair, I don't know exactly what that's referencing. Probably wouldn't be too hard to I should say probably not too hard to figure it out, though, given the context. But it's the idea that they were trying to sell records and songs off of that terrible story. Alright, what do we have here? Anything useful? Raffle ticket's a maybe. Everything else is kinda eh. Give me that. Alright. So, moving on. And if the real thing don't do the trick, you better make up something quick. You gonna burn, 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 burn to the wick. Ooh, Barracuda. I normally don't actually sing the lyrics, but I mean, it's such a well-known song. I mean, how can you not? It's the littlest damage upgrade, but hey, it's a damage upgrade. There we go. Alright, so as we transition to the next level, we'll also transition to the next part of the song. Sell me, sell you, the porpoise said. Dive down deep now to save my head. You. I think that you got the blues too. All that night and all the next, swam without looking back, made for the western pools. Silly, silly fools. Now, I don't know about you guys, but just reading it like this, I can practically hear the bitterness that she brings to the table when she's talking about the subject. And I don't blame her. I am, of course, talking about Ann Wilson. To be fair, I have to imagine that this is something that Nancy felt as well. This idea of, how dare you say this kind of crap about me. just a little bit more to go, so bear with me. The real thing don't do the trick. No, you better make up something quick. You're gonna burn it to the wick. Oh, Barracuda. So them be the lyrics, and hopefully it all made good sense. I'm gonna drop this on you because I never wanted it in the first place. After now knowing what the song is about, yeah, I have a very newfound respect for the song. And it was already a good song, and after knowing that, I now find myself enjoying it actually a little bit more. Sometimes knowing the story it makes a song all the more interesting. I may or may not come back for Family Seal, I'm not sure yet. So by all means, let me know what you guys think about that. Hit me up with a comment or some such, and let me know what you think of the story of Barracuda. Again, this is a story I was not aware of until just now, and ooh, hot damn! Actually, it makes me angry just thinking about it. Because why in the world would you think you need to say that about someone just for publicity? And ultimately, the answer is publicity. But you're already talking about their third album. Did they really need more publicity? They've clearly made it somewhere. Get into that pit. Definitely take that. Good Barracuda. Dark Sage, that's a shark. Of course it is. And yeah, I'll go grab the Family Seal. Now, I have no doubt that there are other songs out there that have been born from just pure spite and hate, but that's the one that's gonna stick with me for a bit because, hey, I didn't know that. Yeah, I'll grab that. Now, I'm not sure if I ever really got to finish saying this, so I'm going to finish it now. So, I had a D&D character that I was using as an NPC helper in a game that we were modeling after Star Fox. So, so things like space travel and building ships and whatnot was definitely a thing. Like, there was a lot that needed to be kept track of, and unfortunately that game ultimately fell apart because a certain someone, names need not be said right now, just couldn't be bothered to keep their head in the game and was being very disrespectful to me as the game master, but also our other players. So it just kind of became this matter of, okay, we need to put a stop. We need to put a stop to this because you're clearly not giving a damn. And it's a shame because that game was a lot of fun, but the reason why I'm talking about this is during the Barracuda Wizard of Metal is because the character in question's favorite song was actually Barracuda. Like she just had a deep love and respect of that song, and when the group went to go talk to her and, you know, see what was going on, frequently she would be listening to that or any number of other hard rock songs, but that kind of became the song to let you know that this is the character you're talking to. And it was really a lot of fun. It worked out so well. And that's not the only time I've designed a D&D character who's a fan of a song or an artist. So I'm curious as to what the upgrade does for this one. Let's look. It doesn't increase gem gain at all, so that's a waste. But another 5% gold gain is nice. Will it make up for the idea that I just spent 100 on that? Probably not. Wait, why is she selling me that when I already have it? Iris, you're not making any sense. I currently have that Arcana. Alright, anything up here that would make sense to pick up? I'm gonna grab Royal Flushes because I have a lot of Fire Arcana. I mean, I kinda have Movement Arcana. I have 1. God, I hate those buzzsaw guys so much. Alright, well, we might as well spend some money on a health potion. Now, as for the reason why Barracuda has been on my list, is because, as I mentioned, I guess it's not recent. At the time, it was recent. But I had recently heard a cover of the song Barracuda by the band Seven Kingdoms, who, if you don't know, is an American-based power metal band from Florida. And I really liked their rendition of it, and it again brought up memories of that character. Who, to be fair, the character didn't die or anything, she still exists. That game is no longer running. Oh, would you just die already? Okay, I can't really get the Journal of Midas to activate if I'm constantly taking damage. I don't mind what she has for sale, but I kind of like what I have at the moment. Probably going to stick with it. As another example of a character that I had designed who is a little bit inspired by real-world music, I also designed a character that became rather infamous in our circles just because of the crazy antics that she would perform. But she is, again, this character still exists. She's still around. But she is a massive Michael Jackson fan. And I'm sure you can guess what her opinion is on that alien ant farm version of Smooth Criminal. Now, I've heard a lot of covers of Michael Jackson songs that, you know, at the very least I find interesting, but yeah, over time I've kind of grown to like that cover of Smooth Criminal less and less. Which, yeah, that's probably the point. And when I say that's probably the point, I don't mean like, you know, that's the conclusion that everyone reaches. I mean like, you know, that's why I'm bringing it up in the first place. Ooh, presents. I love a good present. Alright, well, we'll definitely take Jade's Chakra Locket. I kinda don't need anything else here. I suppose if there were anything else I would really want to pick up, which, you know, I would drop that, but I'm gonna stick with what I have for right now. And either way, I'm happy that I went out of my way. It's always nice to get an unbirthday present. nice, but I'm gonna say no. Perfect. I'm good. So, how does that story of the song Barracuda affect your thoughts on it? And like I said, I personally feel as though that song came from a dark place, sure, but that doesn't make it a worse song. I would say probably makes it a better song, in my opinion. And it's well known that when something is made with passion, it tends to resonate more with people. So I'd say okay, well, we can now get rid of this to pick up the merchant's cart. And I think that's good. That is everything we will need. Alright, first phase down. Now we just need to worry about the second phase. Ow. Owie. Ah, nuts. Ha! And like a true Barracuda, got him with the element of surprise. It's what you get for dashing into my beautifully crafted ice sculpture. Alright, so that is Barracuda. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I will put a link both to the original song and to the Seven Kingdoms cover in the description. And yeah, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to spend with me and watching my video. If you liked it, hit the like button, maybe subscribe to my channel. I do stuff like this pretty regularly, and I hope to see you again in the near future. My name is Dark Sage Walker. There's the run, and I will be seeing you.